And an accused nun killer fights to keep the jury from hearing something very interesting in his trial. He doesn't want the jury in his upcoming trial to hear the victim was murdered in her convent or that she was a nun.
Rogelio Carroll's attorney says he is afraid his client will not have a prayer with a Catholic jury. News 13's Katie Kim is in the Newsplex.
In this motion filed late this afternoon in federal court, Carroll's attorney also argues the fact that the victim was a nun has no relevance in the case. It was who she was, a dedicated servant to the Catholic Church, a life ended Halloween night in 2009. Sister Marguerite Bartz was brutally murdered in her convent home in Navajo, just north of Gallup. The FBI named the then 18-year-old Rogelio Carroll as her killer. He told investigators he bludgeoned Sister Bartz to death with her own flashlight when she caught him prowling around inside her home. Investigators say Carroll was in need of money for drugs and alcohol. Carroll, now 20, will stand trial for his crimes June 4th. But there's one very important fact about the victim he doesn't want jurors to know: her faith.
As tragic as this case is and as godly as she was, it's just not relevant to the case other than to inflame the passions of the jury.
In a motion filed today, his defense wants no pictures, objects, or references during the trial that Sister Bartz was a nun or that the murder took place on a Catholic parish. Attorney Robert Gorin says those facts have nothing to do with the case.
The government doesn't allege that this is a hate crime or that there's a special penalty because Sister Bartz was in fact a nun.
Gorin says he wants any talk of religion barred from the courtroom for the same reason the feds had Carroll locked away in solitary confinement since the crime. He says inmates would have, quote, lynched Carroll because he's suspected of killing a nun.
It's that inflammatory while he's incarcerated. How could it be any less so to a jury?
Federal prosecutors declined an interview but say they will oppose the motion. The feds want to call 2 nuns to stand in the trial. Back to you.
All right, Katie, if he's convicted, Carroll faces life without parole. Now, because the murder took place on tribal land, the Navajo Nation had the option to decide if Carroll should be eligible for the death penalty. The Navajos said no.